Hello and welcome to the show. Now, on a day like today, you can get a bit of everything. A bit of rain, a bit of sunshine and some ominous cloud.
Yeah, it's a bit like the property market, really. All sorts of things going on. And it's really important to know what to buy, where to buy, and also the price to pay, especially when you're buying under the hammer.
When it comes to buying at auction, a lot of people rely on luck to get them that special property.
Yeah, but look, really only should play a very small part. What's more important is for you to do your due diligence before you buy. So what inspired the buyers on today's show?
Where's Dion hiding? In Crewe.
I'm over here!
Martel is rolling the dice in a two-bed mid-terrace in Accrington.
Place your bets. Upstairs, downstairs kitchen. I'm going down.
And Tommy is hoping to get back to the future in Norwich.
All very 70s, not really what you want now, you know?
All these properties have been sold at auction, and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
You bought it?
We head now to Cheshire and the town of Crewe, best known for its railway heritage. But it's also a great place to get your hands on an auction lot.
Here I am in the centre of Crewe. I'm not too far away from the train station, so I've got great links to the north and the south, and I'm here on this quiet street to see one of these beautiful Victorian houses. Actually, this one is mine for the day. 4 bedrooms, over 4 floors, and had a guide price of £155,000 at auction. It looks lovely, doesn't it? I love these kind of houses. Oh, nice, very nice. Now, I was hoping I would come in and I'd see a nice hallway with that kind of flooring. Let's just say it looks mint. And you've got some nice corbels there, a bit of detail. You come into this first reception room and there's more original features. You've got lovely coving, you've got real fire. The ceilings are so high and it just gives you a feeling of space. Nice big bay window. What else is there to see? Okay, back into the hallway and you've got the stairs going up to the bedroom, some lovely detail in between the spindles. Second reception room is large, very much like the first one. Down the hallway into the dining kitchen area, which is very nice. There is a slight whiff of damp that might be down to these being original quarry tiles. But this space is great. If it's not your style, just change it. You've got the space you need to put your stamp on it. And there's a cellar.
Yes, there is, and it adds to this property's potential. The house is raised up, so there's good ceiling height down here, and a window bringing in lots of natural light. This means it could be converted into a bedroom, or you could make use of it as a utility space, or simply just for storage.
Right. Upstairs, and I'm already out of breath, but there's so much to see up here. Are you ready for this? It's gonna be quick, it's gonna be quick. Whew. Right. Box room. Never been a box room. Quite easy to get a double bed in there. That is huge. Family bathroom, needs updating, but if you're renting, you could keep it. Right, other side of the landing, more stairs. I'll get to them in a minute. 2 more bedrooms. This one is huge. Loads of space to play with. Another huge bedroom. Huge bedroom. I'm over here kind of bedroom. High ceilings are great. Double glazed windows, again, the whole place is saying to me, decorate me, put some new flooring in and some furniture. And then you're done. No, I'm not. There is more to see. Up here, right at the top of the property, we've got another bedroom, and a good-sized bedroom at that. This would have been the original ceiling, and I'm guessing it's not insulated. So why not take that out, try and create a vaulted ceiling, give you a sense of more space. But it's a massive bonus to have this. But it starts getting me thinking, what do you do? Do you make it into a house? Yeah, possibly. Do you turn it into 2 flats? Quite easily. Or do you turn it into a HMO, a house of multiple occupancy? This property lends itself to so much.
It certainly does. So we've asked along an expert from the auction house that sold the property to get her thoughts on what would be best to do with it, and of course, to get some values.
In my opinion, I think this property would be perfect for a HMO due to its bedroom size and reception room size and the area it is in.
So the agents, like Dion, can see the potential here for a house of multiple occupancy. There's lots of rules and regulations to follow if a buyer were to go down this road. That aside, what work could the property benefit from?
I wouldn't change much to the property. I would keep all of its original features. I would maybe just do a bit of cosmetic work, such as painting and decorating.
Once any renovations are complete, what could be the potential returns?
On completion, I would say the property would rent out anywhere between £850 to £875 per calendar month for a family let. For a HMO, I would say the property would rent out between £350 to £375 per calendar month per room.
And how would it do on the sales market?
On completion, depending on the finish, I would put the property on the market for anywhere between £180,000 to £190,000.
This is a very nice house. It's built well and it's in a good area. And it's full of original details. Let's find out how to eye for those details when we're under the hammer.
This lot was part of a remote auction with bids taking place online.
You bought it? Well done, thank you.
The successful bid of £150,000 was made by Jordan from Macclesfield. He works in the financial industry, but has decided to use his spare time to get involved in the world of property. Let's hear what he has planned for this lot.
Jordan, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Well done, by the way, because this is a very nice property. Did you find it or somebody else found it?
I found it. I looked out. Yeah.
And were you looking for something this nice, this big, this finished?
No. I initially looked at some smaller properties, and then this one was just going for a bit of a steal at the time, so I just waited out and, yeah, I got very lucky with the online auction.
Were you happy with what you paid?
Yeah, well, initially I'd put in a pre-auction bid of 165,000, and day before the auction, the owner said they'd had too much interest, so they took it to auction. And thankfully I got it for 150, so, you know, 15 grand of fun money for the house.
That's unbelievable. Okay, so they were thinking they'll get a bit more.
Yeah, but, you know,
wow.
you never know.
15 grand, that goes straight back into the budget, doesn't it?
Yep. So hopefully I'll be able to keep things pretty modest.
Okay.
Like, total.
Jordan has a budget of 30 grand. And another thing which may help keep his costs down is the fact his brother is an electrician and his dad has plenty of property experience too, meaning they can offer Jordan help and guidance.
What are you going to do with it?
So I'm going to be living in the property. So I'm going to have to work around that, but my kind of hopes is to install en-suites into the bigger rooms and go sort of more of a HMO route.
Okay, is that plan number one? Or is that the only plan?
That's the only plan right now, but yeah, we'll see. It just depends on how expensive it all ends up being. But yeah, that'd be great, and then potentially open up the kitchen, depending on budget. Okay,
so let's go back to you adding on suites.
Mm-hmm.
So how many bedrooms would you hope to get?
Not including the one that I'd be in, on the top floor, potentially 4 or 5.
Okay, so the top floor would be yours?
Top floor would be mine,
okay.
Yeah. And then you've got the 3 bedrooms on the middle floor.
Yeah.
And then this room we're in right now, which is previously a dining room,
yeah.
potentially this going to be another room as well. And then there's always the potential with the cellar, but obviously don't want it to be too cramped, so we will see, yeah.
You mentioned an extension.
So I think opening up the kitchen back out, and that's mainly to create a bit more space, as well as having a toilet. I think as far as, you know, the space needed downstairs, if there are going to be quite a few tenants, you don't really want it feeling cramped. So I think a bigger kitchen and obviously a shared living space is quite essential for people to be here long term.
Yeah, have you looked into what needs to be done in order to create a HMO? What boxes have to be ticked and stuff?
I know I've had like a very brief read, so I'm not going to pretend I know everything. I certainly don't, and you know I can imagine there may be some speed bumps, but you know for right now I think you know even if you were to have 1 or 2 people in the property, as far as the mortgage costs and everything, it's still quite viable. So it's just a case of jumping through any hoops if and when they might appear.
I suppose you're thinking to yourself, you've got a big property, it's where you're living, but if you've got other people in there with you, that you kind of eating into the mortgage that you don't have to pay for.
Yeah, so that's kind of the hope.
I like that. Why should you pay if you can get someone else to pay?
Yeah. But, no, we'll see.
Jordan has given himself a timescale of around 2 years, and he plans to do as much of the work himself as possible. He will bring in professionals to carry out certain jobs, and this is where his dad comes in, as he can help him connect with the right tradespeople.
Right, Jordan, please tell me you're going to keep some of the original beautiful features that are here.
Yeah, definitely.
Good man.
I think it'd be a shame if, you know, someone was to remove them, so I think they do add a lot of character.
Listen, I've got to say, possibly the luckiest first timer we've had on Homes Under the Hammer, because this property is beautiful. But I'd like to say good luck. But I've got this sneaky feeling you'll be okay.
Yeah, I reckon. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Good luck, mate.
All right, cheers. Nice one.
Jordan's got big plans for this place. He's given himself a budget of 30 grand, but his big decision is, will it be a HMO or will it be a house? And you know what, Jordan? Time's money, kid. Make a decision. You can find out how he gets on, and I hope he does well, later in the programme.
To Lancashire now and the small market town of Accrington. Famous for manufacturing the hardest building bricks in the world, used in the Blackpool Tower and the Empire State Building, no less. Let's hope the property we're looking at is a sturdy one.
Today's property is just round the corner from the town centre, so it won't be the quietest of spots, but if you like a lot happening on your doorstep, this could be the place for you. Here we are, a 2-bed mid-terrace, which came with a guide price of just £10,000. You need a bit of a re-render here, but I'm intrigued. £10,000? Let's go look. What do we have? Well, straight ahead, stairs going up, then a room, just one room. I'm wondering where the kitchen is. Is this meant to be a kitchen diner? You have central heating, double glazing, good. You want to get both checked over. And then you have another door with stairs going down. So, is the kitchen upstairs or downstairs? Upstairs would be a bit quirky. Place your bets. Upstairs, downstairs kitchen. I'm going down. Oh, right. Time for my phone torch. This does not scream welcoming stairway that takes you down to a snug kitchen at all. It looks dank. It feels damp. It smells damp. And look at this. It definitely looks damp. The paintwork has blistered. There's nothing to stop water coming through here. That's a real issue, needs tanked. And then looking over here to the plasterwork's just crumbling away. Look at this, just crumbling away. Ooh, that could really eat into a budget, but it does need seeing to. And then your wiring exposed, never good. That said, it looks relatively new. New wiring to the meter. You might be able to salvage that, but always want to get it checked over by a qualified electrician. And when I'm thinking of that guide price of £10,000, suddenly it starts to make sense because you would have to spend money and perhaps quite a lot of it to fix this damp issue. At the back of the house, this door's locked. I'd imagine it leads onto a shared courtyard, and then lending itself to a feeling of dark, you've got a boarded up window. The space itself, well, you can see what you could do here. This kitchen needs replaced, but if you fixed the damp issue, if you got in an all-singing kitchen, suddenly you could have lovely living space over 3 floors. It might just cost you quite a lot of money to do it. Upstairs, and well, straight away you want to replace this banister. It's wobbly and not safe. Interestingly, this is actually one window which has been divided by a wall, and it's quite a clever way of bringing some natural daylight into the stairwell, but also into the shower room, which is just a shower room. No chance of getting a bath in here. It's pretty cramped as it is, but for the size of this property, maybe that's all you need. But you need to replace the shower, replace the toilet. It would make all the difference. And then your first bedroom, I'm going to need my torch again for this. So, just so you can see me and see how dark this place really is. The reason being, there's no natural daylight coming through, there's no windows here, which is not ideal. And also, you'd be struggling to get a single bed in here. It's pretty small. Me, I'd be thinking about taking this wall down. It's just a partition wall, opening things up so that you have daylight coming through to 2 better sized bedrooms. The only thing is, you'd be losing your bathroom from this floor and you'd have to figure out where to put it. Through to the second bedroom, which thankfully is a lot brighter and a bit roomier too. Now, the double glazing up here does need some attention. You can see there's some condensation in between the panes. That said, I happen to know that this property comes with a Category D rating for energy efficiency. That's really good news because the minimum you need is a Category E to rent the place out. So, happy days.
Happy days indeed. And although a Category D energy rating is good, it may be worth looking into options to make the property even more energy efficient. This could end up saving you money in the long run, and of course, it's more environmentally friendly. We invited along a local estate agent to get his thoughts on the property.
Property is located close to Accrington Centre. You've got good local amenities which you've got access to. Bus links to Blackburn and Burnley, and there's a train station within 5 minutes with access to Manchester, Preston and Blackburn.
So, if the house was bought for around that guide price of £10,000, what profit could be made once renovated?
This property, done up to a good standard, would be worth somewhere between £60,000 and £65,000.
And how do the rental figures sound?
This property, done up to a decent standard, would be worth somewhere between £400 and £425 per calendar month.
This mid-terrace may be small, but so is the guide price of just £10,000. But there are a few issues here that really could eat into a budget. Ultimately, what you could have, though, is a lean rental machine in central Accrington. Let's find out who agreed when it went under the hammer.
This property was sold at an online auction.
1, 2, 3, and gone, online.
The lucky bidder was Ahmad, bagging the lot for £37,000. Having left the pharmaceutical industry, Ahmad has been investing in property for the last 2 years. Let's find out how he plans to remedy his latest projects.
Ahmad, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very pleased about this.
Good, you'd call this a kind of bijou house. It was on for a small guide price of £10,000.
Yep.
You got it for a bit more than that.
Yeah, got it for about 37, and quite pleased with obviously the end goal.
So, had you done homework to find out that this was a good price? Had you looked at the ceiling prices in the area? You're smiling, so I'm guessing not.
It is my first auction property. So I've made a lot of mistakes, and one of the ones that I would definitely recommend that people should do is to read the legal pack. I did not do that, and on top of 37,000, I'd had to pay 6,000 on top as well to the seller, to the seller's solicitors and any conveyancing work that they wanted to essentially do.
I think it's fantastic you're being so honest because there's so much to learn
Absolutely.
from what you've done. And it's great when somebody says, you know, I've made mistakes, here what they are, I've been stung. We do mention those golden rules on Homes Under the Hammer. Do you not watch the show?
Maybe I should have asked my mother first before I actually put a bid in.
And it's not just Mum that could come in handy. This will be Ahmed's 5th development project, and he would normally work on them alone, but as his dad, Mohammed, lives close by, he'll be helping him manage this one.
I have been quite lucky with the house because it doesn't require rewiring, for example. It doesn't require a lot of good things have come out of this, of course.
So you walk into the house and you see it for the first time. What did you think as you walked around?
I was extremely pleased because my expectations were really low and I was worried that what have I bought really, if you know what I mean. But I'm extremely pleased that there's a literal basement, and in the basement there's a kitchen. Obviously, it requires work, don't get me wrong, but it's comprised of 3 floors and I can easily put in 2 beds on top.
I'm guessing this is for rental investment.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm with you. I love finding a sneaky wee extra floor. It's so great and exciting. However, with the floor that you have, that's the bit that requires work, the basement.
Yep.
So have you looked into what needs to be done and how much it could eat into a budget?
Yeah, my budget is around 10,000 to, was around 10,000 to 15,000. Well, 6,000 has been cut into that, of course. But to be honest with you, even if it goes to 15,000, I suppose is my ultimate limit, is my max limit. Revamping the kitchen, of course, making it nice, glossy, beautiful, I suppose. Doesn't require rewiring, as I already told you. Treating the wall downstairs.
Well, that's the massive bit. For me, it just looks, smells, feels damp.
Yep.
So you would need to tank that
Yep.
wall, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Have you looked into that?
Yep, I've had several quotes and I've already had a decision. A gentleman is coming towards the end of this week to actually starting the work on the wall straight away.
On the top floor,
Yeah.
on your first floor, you've got the 2 bedrooms. One doesn't have any windows.
That's what I was gonna say. So I don't know how truthful it was for the auction company to advertise this as a 2-bed, because technically speaking, strictly speaking, the way it's been designed, it's actually a 1-bed, because the other bed is actually like a storage room.
And to market something as a bedroom, you need daylight coming in, you need a fire escape.
Absolutely.
So what's your plan there?
What I'm going to do is remove the bathroom completely, remove the stud wall, the 2 stud walls completely, and add 1 stud wall in the middle of the box room, as you want to call it, and that would become 1 bedroom and the other one would become another bedroom. So the end of that bedroom, the length of that bedroom, a portion of it will become a standing shower, a WC and a basin, basically.
So you've got your 2 bedrooms, bathroom. You've talked about the tanking. Have you been given a rough estimate of how much that would cost?
$1,250. So I've been given as an estimate.
Right, and how long is this all going to take you, Ahmed?
I'm looking at around about 6 weeks turnaround. My main aim is 6 weeks is my goal.
£10,000, 6 weeks, very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Ahmed, this is a waggy finger because you didn't follow the Golden Hammer rules. Always read the legal pack and view the property before buying. So here, he's been stung for extra fees, but there's no room to add an extra bedroom. It's been a shaky start, but will things firm up from here? You can find out later in the show.
Coming up, Tommy is left in the dark in Norwich.
There's no lights on the whole of this floor. They must eat a lot of carrots and be able to walk around in the dark.
And in Accrington, Ahmed's dad, Mohammed, fills us in on the state of his project.
It was a lot of mess here.
Now it's time to return to Crewe, where Dion visited a 4-bed terrace that had a guide price of £155,000, and it seemed to grant his every wish.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Now, I was hoping I would come in and I'd see a nice hallway with that kind of flooring. Let's just say it looks mint.
It's everything I wish.
And the house impressed throughout.
Another huge bedroom. Huge bedroom. I'm over here kind of bedroom. The whole place is saying to me, decorate me, put some new flooring in and some furniture. And then you're done.
Never guessed it got this good. Wondered if it ever would. Really didn't think it could. Do it again, I know we should.
The successful bidder who won the lot for £150,000, £5,000 under the guide price, was Jordan.
Did you find it or somebody else?
I found it, I looked out, and then this one was just going for a bit of a steal at the time, so I just waited out and, yeah, I got very lucky with the online auction.
Listen, I've got to say, possibly the luckiest first timer we've had on Homes Under the Hammer, because this property is beautiful.
Jordan planned to live in the property whilst doing it up and hoped to turn it into a house of multiple occupancy. This would be his first foray into property development, but would beginner's luck see him through to the end? He had given himself a timescale of around 2 years to complete the work. Well, it's been just 19 months and we're back to see how Jordan got on. The front of the house is looking unchanged, bar the green door. But hey, it's hard to improve on perfection. The hallway has had a lick of white paint, which makes it much brighter. The living room is now less margarine and more serene, as the walls have been replastered and painted. The dining room is now a 5th bedroom, which boasts a new ensuite. And the kitchen, although not extended, is looking far more spacious, having lost the wall from the middle. The bedrooms have all been replastered, repainted and refloored, and each has its own private shower room. The old family bathroom now belongs to the back bedroom. The cellar space has been tanked and had a new WC installed, but this area is still a bit of a work in progress. Eventually, it will be a utility room. Big changes in the garden, having been cut back, gravelled and astroturf laid for easy maintenance. The garden and this now 5-bed home both look like great spaces to live and socialise in. Jordan has done a fantastic job, but how did he find living in the property while he carried out the work?
I think the benefit of living in the house that you're working on is obviously a couple hours in the evening here or there, you can obviously start cracking on with things, but you do sacrifice a lot of the creature comforts, like heating and water and showers, so yeah, a bit of a trade-off.
That's dedication for you. Luckily, Jordan did have help from his family throughout the renovation.
Yeah, the family was a massive help with the project, so, you know, from start to finish, they've all been really supportive, and as far as even coming and doing work or even cooking me the odd meal, it's been really nice having them there, and I couldn't have done it without them.
As this was Jordan's first development project, it's amazing that he's finished ahead of schedule. But how did he get on with his 30 grand budget?
So I was wildly off on my initial budget, so it's actually come closer to around 55 grand, which, you know, almost double what I intended. But again, that was just a lot of the work that had to be done, which wasn't really accounted for when I was initially running around the house. So yeah, 25 plus extra. Yeah, even though the budget's way, way over, I'm at least ahead of schedule.
Jordan's original plan was to let the place as an HMO, and going by the new layout, it's pretty clear that's still the plan. But now the work's complete, would he consider selling it on?
After like the blood, sweat and tears, I probably wouldn't be convinced to sell unless it was ridiculous. So probably just rent it and move it onto a HMO basis and continue living in the attic.
Let's see what a local property expert makes of the changes and if they have any ridiculously tempting sales or rental figures they'd value it at.
The layout wasn't what I was expecting when I first walked in. I thought it would have been as a family home, but I think what he's done here is brilliant because a house this size for one person to run can be a bit overfacing. So he's done it with 4 self-contained rooms with en-suites. So it's a home with an income. Absolutely brilliant idea.
What figure would she place on this house if it were to go on the sales market?
So I believe we could achieve between £220,000 and £230,000 for this property.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than I was expecting, to be fair. So, you know, once I get all the snags out of the way, you know, it's good to know.
Georgian's total spend here, including the purchase price, is £205,000. So that top sales figure of £230,000 could leave Jordan with a pre-tax profit of 25 grand. That isn't too bad for his first project, but what are the rental figures?
If this property was rented as a family home, we would be looking to achieve a rental of £1,100 per calendar month.
Jordan was always renovating the property with renting it as an HMO in mind. He still has a few bits and pieces to complete before he can apply for his HMO licence. But what sort of figures could he achieve once he's acquired it?
I would expect that an individual room in this property would achieve between £450 and £475 per calendar month.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, so yeah, really quite pleased with that, to be fair.
And he should be pleased. Those HMO rental figures could see Jordan achieve an annual yield of over 11%. Now that he's heard the valuations, does all the hard work seem worth it?
I've still got a bit to do, but, you know, it's just reassuring to know it's, you know, better than what I thought it was. So, yeah.
What's next for Jordan then? Back to the property auction?
I'm definitely giving myself a month or 2 off, but I have enjoyed it overall. I just think the next one's going to be a lot less ambitious.
It's time now to head to Norwich in Norfolk. It's the most complete medieval city in the UK, so no surprise that it's a popular place to visit and a great place to find an auction property.
We're just a mile from Norwich city centre, so it's a good location in a pretty little street, and I'm here to look at a 3-bedroom, end-of-terrace house with a guide price between £110,000 and £130,000. This is the house. Let's see what you're going to get for the money. Very 70s, this. Look at that, I've been seeing this for a while. Now this, the very 70s, this is York stone cladding, where you split York stone and stick it to the wall and then point it up. And it's all lovely different colours. I say lovely, it's very 70s, but someone's painted that, so that's got to come off and come out. And of course, this great big brick monolith of a fireplace, that needs to come out. And over here, this all has to come off, really, to do this properly. Now, that used to be a walkway through under the stairs, but they've blocked it up and they've created another arch here, which leads us through, I've got to be careful of my head, into this area here, which is probably a dining room, second reception room. There is a kitchen there, a galley kitchen, and a bathroom at the end of the kitchen. All very 70s, not really what you want now, you know? So really, this all needs to come out, go back to the brick and start afresh.
Removing plasterwork like this textured wallpaper can sometimes require specialists if it contains asbestos, so best to get that checked out. Either way, it will be a laborious job.
I don't like these central stairs. They're always far too steep and awkward. This really needs to be changed. So what we've got in here, we've got a smallish bedroom in here. And what we got in here? I suppose this must be the master bedroom, but I think what I would do is I would take these chimney breasts out all the way down and the stacks. Because it's an end of terrace, you're not compromising your neighbour and you don't need a party wall agreement. And that would give you a lot of extra room. And there's not much salvageable stuff here either. So we've got 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and we've got a long corridor. We'll see at the end of the corridor. Oh, this is ridiculous. Look at this. So there's a box room at the back there, and then the original ceiling level is right up here. So this is a full ceiling gone through. So it just doesn't make sense. You've got about a third of the floor space over the whole floor taken up by corridors, unusable space. So the staircase has to come out and be turned and changed, a new staircase put in, and then you'll have a small landing which will serve the 3 rooms. You might even be able to squeeze an ensuite or a separate family bathroom and even take the one out downstairs. That might be worth considering, but this needs to be reconfigured as a matter of course. And another thing I've just noticed, there's no radiators here, there's no central heating system, but there's also there's no lights on the whole of this floor. So, there's a couple of wall lights, but no ceiling lights. They must eat a lot of carrots and be able to walk around in the dark.
So, not the most conventional layout upstairs. Let's hope the outside makes a bit more sense.
Bit of damp problems there. Need to sort out the gutters. And here, yeah, the gutters again. Oh, very small, but let's make a nice little terrace, actually. Lovely, take up all this bit of decking panels, they're no good. Get rid of all that. Rip up the concrete floor and get some nice paving and lay it right the way through with little planting outcrops, and you could create a real nice space out here. Get rid of that rubbish there, put a new enclosure for the bin, and then all of a sudden you've got room here for a table and chairs, room there for a table and chairs. You could have quite a party here. What more do you want?
We've invited along an expert from the auction house who sold this lot to hear what he thinks of this terrace, guided at £110,000 to £130,000.
It's a little bit dark and dingy upstairs. I think that perhaps the configuration needs to be changed with the landing, but it's quirky, and the opening up of the downstairs area certainly gives it that quirkiness and would perhaps be of attraction to quite a few people.
The agent thinks that you'd need to sacrifice a 3rd bedroom in order to fit a bathroom upstairs, and this could end up having a negative effect on any future developer's profits. So, once renovated, what could the potential returns be here?
I think that if the owner goes with a 3-bed, they'll be looking at about £185,000. However, should they move the bathroom upstairs and then create a 2-bed, I think you're probably going at about £165,000.
And how about the rental market?
Looking at rentals for a 3-bed property, I think probably the owner would be able to get around about £700 per calendar month. If they were to reduce to 2-bed, I think you're probably looking at about £600, £625 per calendar month.
This quirky little terrace needs a whole lot of work done, and I'm not very keen on the actual layout. But I think with a little bit of hard graft and a lot of effort, this could turn into a sweet little house. Let's see who agree with me when it went to auction.
This lot was sold at a remote property auction with online bids only.
Congratulations, well done.
The successful bid of £144,500 was made by Tenji. She has plenty of experience with renovating her own properties over the years, but this was her first auction buy. Tommy met Tenji to find out her plans.
Hi, Tenji. Who's this little chap?
This is Jack. Jack's 6 months, and yeah, he's pretty good. Sleeps well, doesn't cry too much, so yeah, he's a fairly content boy.
Oh, you're very lucky. Well, it's very nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you too.
Congratulations on
Thank you.
your acquisition. Tenji, were you happy with what you paid for the property at the auction?
Yeah, so I did go over my budget, but it was my first auction and it was lot 1, so I just got a bit overexcited. Once I get an idea in my head, there's no convincing me otherwise, and this house was in my head and I was having it.
Good. That's why I think positivity, you have to be positive, you know.
Manifesting.
Yes. So, Tenji, what do you actually intend to do with the place?
So we're going to remove the textured plaster throughout and have all the walls re-skimmed. I'm putting a whole new kitchen in and with slimline kind of dishwashers, so it's all going to be one-sided. One thing I don't like about these terraces is when people try and cram 2 sets of units in, because I think it makes it a really enclosed space. And then we are moving the bathroom upstairs. And making the master bedroom into an ensuite. And we're hoping for a second ensuite upstairs with just a shower cubicle and a toilet. But that's still, I need to speak to the plumber in a bit more depth about that one.
Right, so will you lose the 3rd bedroom, the box room, or will you retain that?
No, we will lose it. But how I see it is if I sell it on, someone that would look to buy this would be a first-time buyer who might potentially need some help with the mortgage, and they could then rent out the second room, and because it's got the ensuite, they'd have bathroom facilities themselves, so it would mean their income would be more.
So if you're able to move the bathroom from the ground floor to the 1st floor, what's going to happen to that room out there? Are you going to knock it down, or...?
No, so because I don't want to do too much structurally, just because the budget is quite tight on this, I'm actually just going to have it as a laundry room with a downstairs toilet for guests.
Oh, clever idea. That's it. They go well together, those two. They combine very well, and they're very popular with the rental market as well.
Yeah.
Is your idea to create it for the rental market or to sell on?
In all honesty, I'm kind of in 2 minds at the moment. So there is potential to rent it once it's complete, but equally I might sell it on depending on what the market's doing at the time.
Sure.
I've kind of thought about it, but just weighing up my options.
Tenji is planning to remove the wall of the unusual corridor upstairs in order to make space for the planned en-suites. But how much has she set aside to get all this work done?
So in terms of cost, I've costed it up, and without my partner's labour fee, it's 12,000. But I've got a contingency, so up to 15. I'd like to get it done in 9 months as well.
Well, that's a fair amount of time, and that allows, obviously, your partner Graham to do a lot more work within the 9 months than it would be a contractor. But you say he's going to charge you?
He is, yeah. He's got an hourly rate. This is my project, so yeah. At the moment, we're keeping it separate, so I'm leading the way on this one. So he has got an hourly fee, which is fine by me.
Well, wait till my wife sees. I'm going to say, because for the last 50 years I've been doing the work and never got a penny from her. So I say, well, I need to do a backdated hourly fee. Yes.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yes, and I think I might take a cruise.
Bonus as well.
That is the bonus. So, do you have a long-term property plan?
Yeah. So.
Or just to expand the business?
So the hope is that we'll do this one, and hopefully that will give us enough for our dream home. I would really like to purchase a derelict barn in the future and kind of renovate it from scratch.
Well, I wish you good luck with it.
Thank you.
Well, Tenji certainly has the enthusiasm to take on a job like this. But will she be able to complete it for the budget she's got, which is now a bit tight after that overspend at the auction? I just hope that Tenji and baby Jack can take a step further towards their dream home. You can find out how they do later on in the show.
Earlier we saw how one of our properties got on, but let's check out the other 2.
Yes, have there been a few minor tweaks or major renovations? Let's find out.
We're back in Accrington, and this 2-bed mid-terrace with a guide price of just 10 grand. With a basement that was less Homes Under the Hammer and more Hammer House of Horror.
This does not scream welcoming stairway that takes you down to a snug kitchen at all. It looks dank, it feels damp. And when I'm thinking of that guide price of £10,000, suddenly it starts to make sense, because you would have to spend money, and perhaps quite a lot of it, to fix this damp issue.
And upstairs there was a novel way of sharing out the daylight.
This is actually one window which has been divided by a wall, and it's quite a clever way of bringing some natural daylight into the stairwell, but also into the shower room.
Come back and stay for good this time.
It was Ahmad's first auction property and he got the place for £37,000. But neglecting to read the legal pack, he was landed with an extra £6,000 in seller's fees. This didn't stop him from having grand plans for the upstairs layout.
What I'm going to do is remove the bathroom completely, remove the stud wall, the 2 stud walls completely, and add 1 stud wall in the middle of the box room, as you want to call it, and that would become 1 bedroom and the other one would become another bedroom.
He was planning on the work taking just 6 weeks, but now 10 months have passed and we're back to see how he's got on. New plastering, painting, and carpet throughout. The kitchen remains unfinished. Upstairs has been rejigged with the bedrooms resized and the bathroom moved to allow both bedrooms to finally enjoy some daylight. Due to other commitments, Ahmad couldn't meet us, so he sent his dad, Mohammed, who lives close by and has been involved with this project throughout.
I'm pleased with nearly everything what we have done in this property. It was a lot of mess here, and now this is really ready. I was at the start. I had a few troubles of arranging people, communicating with them.
The initial plan was to rent the property. Is this still the case?
Well, we are planning to remortgage it, and after that we are going to put it on rent. This is what we are planning now.
With Ahmad busy and Mohammed holding down a full-time job, the 6-week timescale went out the window. But who did all the work?
Lot of things at the start. My son Ahmad, he was able to manage it because we have got a couple of properties in Sheffield, and he asked the plasterer and the guy who was supposed to do the toilet and washroom, who came from there, who stayed here, and who did most of the things. After that, my task was to complete the painting and the carpeting. So I didn't have anybody, so I had to go to the carpet shop, and I asked for the help, and they arranged one of the guy who was really handy. He painted, he did the carpeting, and he arranged for the blinds as well.
They had a budget of £10,000 to £15,000, minus the £6,000 already spent on fees. So how much has all the work cost so far?
When I started it, I had a figure of 10 to 12,000. Today, I feel that I have gone a bit above that. I have spent nearly 13,000, and maybe a couple of thousand I'm going to spend for appliances and everything in the kitchen. So it is not that far from my budget.
So that means, including the £6,000 seller's fee, the investment here is sitting around £58,000. So is this money well spent? What does the local estate agent think?
Quite an unusual layout in terms of having the kitchen in the basement of the property. Usually it's at the back of the terraced house. Certainly the lounge space is quite reasonable. And I understand there's been some changes upstairs. So I believe some of the space was taken off the front bedroom to create a bathroom, and then a bedroom at the back where the bathroom was. So that's definitely an improvement. The standard of the finish is reasonable. I think it is right for the property in the area. There is a ceiling in terms of what the value of the property is once all the work is finished, and I understand that is still going on. But certainly I think, as a subject to the kitchen, I think it is of a reasonable standard.
They are set to spend around £58,000 on this property. So what return could they expect on their investment if they sold?
I would market the property at £60,000. Subject to further improvements, that could potentially increase up to £70,000.
Well, I'm expecting something more than 70,000. Yes, after completing my kitchen. This is what my expectations. I'm not thinking about 60,000 pounds.
Once the kitchen is complete, that top figure of £70,000 is possible, which could mean a pre-tax profit of around 12 grand, minus the cost of the kitchen. But as the plan is to rent the property out, what monthly figures can they expect?
I would look at a rental valuation of £400 per month.
Well, I was expecting something like 475 to 500 pounds. Let's see what happens.
£400 per month could see them bagging an impressive 8.2% yield. So, what is the plan for the future?
I have to do kitchen. This is my first priority nowadays, and it will be a bit quicker. I don't want to waste much time now. I have already arranged things for this, and it will be done within maybe a couple of weeks or something like that. And after that, I'll be done with this property. Everybody needs breaks, so I'll take break as well. Yeah.
Now to head back in time to Norwich, where Tommy visited a 3-bed end terrace with a guide price of £110,000 to £130,000.
Very 70s, this. So, really, this all needs to come out. Go back to the brick and start afresh.
Love is good, love can be strong. We gotta get right back to where we started from.
Another thing I've just noticed, there's no radiators here, there's no central heating system, but there's also there's no lights on the whole of this floor.
And the buyer who was going to light up this dark, dated home was Tenji, accompanied by baby Jack. She had scooped up the place for £144,500. This wasn't her first renovation project, but it was her first time at the auction, and nothing was going to get in her way.
Yeah, so I did go over my budget, but it was my first auction and it was lot one, so I just got a bit overexcited. And once I get an idea in my head, there's no convincing me otherwise, and this house was in my head and I was having it.
Good. That's why I think positivity, you have to be positive, you know.
Manifesting.
Yes.
Let's see if the power of manifestation has helped with the renovations too. Tenji had planned for the work to take no more than 9 months. Now we're back over a year later to see how she's got on. The front door has seen a paintbrush, and all of the windows, although they look unchanged, have had their panes of glass replaced, giving new life to the original frames. Inside, we bid farewell to the 1970s, as the living room, like the rest of the house, has been replastered, refloored and painted. The kitchen has also been brought into the 21st century with new units and new modern appliances. The old back door has been bricked up, but the garden is still accessible through the French doors in the dining area. And thanks to the removal of the back door, the downstairs bathroom is now larger and contains a shower rather than a bath, making space for this to double up as a laundry room. The stairs have been painted, and the bedrooms have been revamped too. And upstairs now has, wait for it, ceiling lights. The whole house has had central heating installed, so no more cold, dark evenings upstairs. But the rear bedrooms are where the biggest changes in the house lie, as Tenji did end up losing one of the bedrooms along with the awkward hallway to create an ensuite attached to the now much more spacious second bedroom. And the back of the house has been given a good tidy up. What a lovely and practical renovation. So Tenji, who got all the work done?
When we got the property, Jack was about 6 months old, so I've been project managing more than anything. My partner Graham and a friend have done a lot of the removal, but then we've had professionals contractors in to plaster, do the heating systems, install the kitchen and put the flooring down.
She had hoped to get the work finished within 9 months. How long did the renovations take in the end?
So in terms of timescales, we turned it round in 7 weeks from completion date to when it was occupied.
And the occupant they had raring to move in was Tenji's mum, who was relocating to the area to be closer to the family, just until she managed to find her own dream house. But was Tenji able to keep within her £12,000 to £15,000 budget?
I would be able to give you the specifics down to the penny, but my laptop broke, so my spend tracker is gone. But I think last count it was up to 18,900 and something, and then I've had to pay a carpenter to do skirting, architrave in the last few weeks. But
let's call it 20 grand, shall we? That's not too bad. So what does Mum make of her first Norwich pat?
She's enjoyed being near Jack, her grandson. And she's, moving shortly onto her next project.
And what's the plan for when Mum's moved out?
It's actually sold already. We complete in the next month.
Tenji is clearly not one to waste any time. Let's see if she's happy with her sales figure once she's heard the opinion of a local property expert. We've invited one along from the auction house that sold it originally to see what they make of the changes.
I think they've done a great job. It was a 3-bedroom terrace and they've converted the upstairs bedroom, 3rd bedroom into a bathroom. So you now have 2 bedrooms and an ensuite.
And what does he think about this new layout upstairs?
When a lot of these old terraces, when they were 3 bedrooms upstairs, they were really 2 bedrooms and then a box room, i.e. you have to walk through the 2nd bedroom to get to the 3rd bedroom, and it's never really ideal because that 3rd bedroom is always much smaller. So I think utilising that space for a bathroom is definitely the right thing to do.
What sales and rental figures would he place on this property now?
I think this property could sell for around £200,000 and rental around £750 per calendar month, so £9,000 per annum.
A rental figure of £750 per calendar month would give Tenji an annual yield of nearly 5.5%. Is that what she would expect for this area?
So the rental figure is similar to what I would be expecting, but maybe a little bit more, just because I know the market in this area quite well, and they tend to go for £850, £900, but renting isn't something we're looking to do. It was always intended to sell.
A sales figure of £200,000 would give her a pre-tax profit of £35,500. But how does that stack up with what she's already sold it for?
That figure is similar to what the agent we had value it said. They valued it at 215. The property has now sold, and it sold for 240.
Nice. That means Tenji's made a pre-tax profit of £75,500. So what does the future hold for Tenji and her family?
We've just bought another property that we're moving into this weekend, and we're also expecting our 2nd child, so Jack will have a brother or sister to play with.
That's lovely news. Congratulations to Tenji and her family.
That's all we've got time for, but please join us again soon as we follow the highs and the lows of property development.
Yes, we'll have plenty more stories for you here on Homes Under the Hammer. And if we've whetted your appetite, then why not press the red button and watch straight away, only on BBC iPlayer.